Testing, testing. Oh, yeah, we got live sound. All right, let's go. So, if you've been under a rock, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander just won the MVP. I know a lot of people are upset because of how Shea is, what Shea does. You know, I even accused him of foul baiting. So what? A lot of people foul baited. James Harden did it. Trey Young did it. Damian Lillard did it. But, I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander should have won MVP last year as well. And I know a lot of people are going to say Nikola Jokic because of the individual numbers. And I also understand it's a regular season award, but that Thunder team won 68 games. And Shea only had one other All Star in Jalen Williams. And Chet Holmgren wasn't even 100% the whole season. Hartenstein wasn't 100% the whole season. And a lot of the other guys from that OKC bench, they ended up gaining experience. And during the playoffs, it's starting to pay off. I'm only going live before this game comes on at about 8 o'clock. I'm going to probably stop once, I order some food. So figure out, show my face and say what's good and give my thoughts about Shea winning MVP. I think that the determining factor was just the fact that Shea played both sides of the ball. I know a lot of people are going to say that Jokic, I think he was like one of the top players in steals this year. And Jokic did play the passing lanes pretty well, like a free safety, you know. And that's an underrated part of Jokic's game is his ability to intercept passes. And yeah, I'm happy for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he deserves it. And obviously he beat Jokic in the playoffs, even though that shouldn't have played a role in him winning. But I think Shea should have been a back-to-back MVP. I think he should have won that shit last year, in my opinion, because that team didn't have all-star players. I mean, Jokic had great role players. He had Murray, he had Westbrook, he had Gordon, Porter was good during the regular season. Playoffs, he was just historically bad. He was historically bad. Because Jokic and Shea was the topic of conversation because, at the end of last year, I felt like Ant-Man was the best in the league. And then, at the beginning of the season, Jokic and Shea planted their flags. And Ant-Man was kind of like forgotten. He was like the forgotten guy in the top players conversation. And then it became about Jokic and Shea, Jokic versus Shea. That was the theme of all last year. That was the theme, Jokic versus Shea. Jokic had the statistics like Wilt Chamberlain. Shea had the better team, the better depth. It was kind of like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, kind of. But, obviously Bill was more defensive than offensive. Shea was offensive and defensive because he was a great perimeter defender. He blocked an occasional shot. And, he can check up on a lot of the game's best players. So I think that's just what it came down to. Just Shea just being a better defender than Jokic is. And I feel like Denver was really up and down all season. Denver didn't play good team defense. And I think that was the reason why they got eliminated. And also a reason why that they weren't a 1 seed or a top 3 seed in the West. Giannis individual numbers during the second half of the season could have gotten him some MVP votes. And, I'm going to give my thoughts on all the awards and who I felt like deserved what. I mean, a lot of people are saying, a lot of people hate Shea. And you saw that when Ant-Man threw that ball at Shea the other night. You saw that, you know, it was a little bit of envy because Ant-Man don't get no calls. Let's just call a spade a spade. Ant-Man don't get the same calls that Shea does because Ant-Man is not well liked by the referees. You know, the world don't want to see Ant-Man win. And I think that's just what it came down to. I mean, if you look at all the NBA awards, Shea averaged 33 points per game, shot 52% from the field, 5 rebounds a game, 6 assists. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Those are Kobe Bryant numbers. I'm not comparing him to Kobe. I'm just comparing the numbers. Those are the type of stats that Kobe would put up. Jokic is putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call Nikola Jokic. My nickname for him is Joe Chamberlain. That's my name for dude. How as far as defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley winning, I'm happy for Evan Mobley winning that award because of the fact that, you know, he improved. He improved on the offensive end and the defensive end. He just still got to put on like 20, 30 pounds. But other than that, I think that I felt like Dyson Daniels deserved Defensive Player of the Year. That's just me. From what I seen, if we just speaking on actual defense, I felt like Dyson Daniels deserved that award. Then Stephon Castle winning Rookie of the Year. I was shocked at that choice. I was super shocked. I'm happy for Castle. My pick was Buzelis from the Bulls, but I didn't realize that dude averaged 9.8 points per game. But I just felt like Buzelis' second half of the season kind of pushed him into at least top 3 consideration. And then I also thought that Zachary Ricochet was going to win. But Castle, he did turn that shit out during the All-Star game. Like the rookie game and all that. He was like one of the top performers. And Stephon Castle was second in that dunk contest. But nobody was fucking with Mac McClung's creativity or his dunks. Then Peyton Pritchard winning Sixth Man of the Year. That was my pick. I mean, I know a lot of people felt like Malik Beasley got robbed. You have a right to feel that way. But I just felt like, I think this just the determining factor for me was just the fact that Pritchard scored 40 points in a game. And you know, he was balling in that game. I think that 40-point game was what separated Beasley and Pritchard. Beasley's really good, but I just felt like Pritchard was just a better choice for Sixth Man. Most improved player, Dyson Daniels. I felt like Cade Cunningham was robbed. Cade Cunningham was definitely robbed of most improved player. He got robbed. Blind. I mean, I like Dyson Daniels. I felt like he should have won Defensive Player of the Year, but Cade improved from the year before. He went from a star player on a shitty team to an all-star on a contender. And I just felt like the Pistons organization got overlooked, robbed, and a lot of things snatched from them that they shouldn't have had gotten snatched from them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, yeah, K got robbed. Then, of course, um, the coach of the year, Kenny Atkinson, what a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. It's a joke. Kenny Atkinson's a joke. He's not a head coach. He's an assistant coach. You're not a pimp. Everybody in your family is assistant pimps. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe in Kenny Atkinson as an elite coach. Donovan Mitchell colluded to have JB Bickerstaff fired. They were like, look, man, Donovan Mitchell went into the front office of the Cavaliers and made demands. He like, look, either fire Bickerstaff or I'm not signing the contract extension. And he ended up getting Bickerstaff fired. Bickerstaff went to Detroit and improved a 14-win team to a 44-win team. And I felt the type of way that JB got robbed of Coach of the Year. And then JB also took that same Cleveland team to pretty much the same place. So it ain't no difference. And I felt, everything that Kendrick Perkins was saying about Bickerstaff, the difference between JB Bickerstaff and Kenny Atkinson. Bickerstaff was holding niggas accountable. They were making sure that, he was on them. Kenny Atkinson is fun. It's daisies. It's cute. We having fun playing basketball. Fun don't get you no championship. Excuse me. Fun don't get you no fucking championship. Hell gets you a championship. Competitive energy gets you a championship. The niggas that's competing in the playoffs, the ones that's going to win the championship, they ain't having fun. They compete. It's a big difference. OKC don't get those post-game interviews fucked up. They're not having no fun. They taking this game seriously. You understand what I'm saying? They taking this shit serious. That's what the fuck they doing. They taking this shit real. This shit is real. And I just think that was just the difference between Atkinson and Bickerstaff. Bickerstaff won 2 playoff games. The Pistons won their first playoff game since 2008. And Bickerstaff just got robbed. Kenny Atkinson and them played a 10-seed Miami Heat. Me being a Piston fan, as you can see, you see the Tayshaun Prince shit. You see the Pistons starting 5 in the background. Y'all know what it is. These motherfuckers robbed JB Bickerstaff. And I don't appreciate that shit. That's some hoe ass shit. I'll just keep it 100. That was wrong. And that award is just a joke to me. Let's see. All rookie first team: Zach Edey, Stephon Castle, Jalen Wells, Alex Sarge, Zachary Ricochet. I had most of that on my list, except Alex Sarr was on my second team, and Matas Bucelis was on the first team. And the second team was Bub Carrington, Eves Misi, Matas Bucelis, Donovan Clingan, Khalil Ware. That looks similar to what my shit was. Damn. Y'all notice that the Bucks was just like the Lakers? The Bucks, y'all remember shit. Nobody remembers the Bucks winning the cup. Nobody remembers that shit. But every team that win the cup only wins one game in the first round. That's a crazy fucking parallel, dude. That's a crazy parallel. Man, I didn't even remember the NBA Cup. That's how unfocused I am on that shit. I don't think the all NBA first teams and all that shit have been announced yet. The MVP just got announced. And all rookies and shit. But all defensive teams haven't been announced yet either, which I will come back on live and talk about. But ain't nobody on this bitch, man. All right. This your boy Kino, NBA and Music Talk. We talking. Congratulations to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a well-deserved MVP, and I'm out.